Om Namo Bhagavate Vyasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namo Pankajanabhaya Namo Pankajamadine Namo Pankajanatraya Namaste Pankajangre. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Reading from Srimad Bhagavat Gita as it is, Chapter 1, entitled Observing the Armies on the Battlefield of Kuruksetra, reading from Text 4. Text 4. Atra Shura Mahashvasha Bhimarjuna Samayudhi Yudhana Viratascha Drupadascha Maharathaha. Translation. Here in this army are many heroic bowmen equal in fighting to Bhima and Arjuna, great fighters like Yudhana, Virata and Drupada. Text 5. Drishtaketushcha Kitana Kashirajascha Viryavan Purujit Kunti Bhojascha Shaibhyascha Narapungavaha. There are also great heroic powerful fighters like Drishtaketu, Chekitana, Kashiraja, Purujit, Kunti Bhoja and Shaibhya. Text 6. Yudhamanyascha Vikranta Uttamaujascha Viryavan Shaubhadro Draupadeyascha Sarva Eva Maharathaha. Translation. There are the mighty Yudhamanyu, the very powerful Uttamaja, the son of Subhadra and the sons of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot fighters. Text 7. Asmakam tu vishishtaye tan nibodha dvijottama nayaka mama sainyasya samyartham tam bravimite. But for your information, O best of the Brahmanas, let me tell you about the captains who are especially qualified to lead my military force. Text 8. Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha Kritascha Samatim Jayaha Ashwathama Vikarnascha Saumadattis Tathaivacha. There are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwathama, Vikarna, and the son of Somadatta called Bhurishrava, who are always victorious in battle. Text 9. Anyecha bahava shura madarte tyakta jivitaha nana shastra praharanaha sarve yuddha vishararaha. There are many other heroes heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons, and all are experienced in military science. So today we read from text 4 to text 9. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurim-militam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu-padaya Krishna-pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Radhanatha Swami-niti namine. Namo Vishnu-padaya Krishna-pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swami-niti namine. Namo Acharya-padaya Nitai-kripa-pradayane Gaurakatha Dhamadaya Nagaragramatarine. Namo Vishnu-padaya Krishna-pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti-vedanta Swami-niti namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So in these verses that we read today from text 4 to text 9, we see that Duryodhana, as Srila Prabhupada has proclaimed him to be the perfect politician, very, very qualified diplomat. He knows how to talk so that, even in, difficult situations, people feel motivated, but everybody knows that a politician, when they talk like this, that they are not just talking out of mere confidence, but also a hidden fear. That was exactly what was Duryodhana's position, that he was definitely fearful, seeing and, thinking about the impending war, but still he was putting up a very brave front so that, he would be able to give encouragement not only to his, soldiers and to his commander-in-chief and everybody, but also to himself, most importantly. These are statements of reaffirmations, reconfirmations to himself, more importantly. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada points out in many of the purports here in these verses that Duryodhana is just the perfect kind of a diplomat. And here in the first verse that we read today in text 4, Duryodhana very cleverly is, comparing. He actually did not fear all the Pandavas. The only two brothers that he feared was Bhima and Arjuna, because he was very scared of Bhima and Arjuna. There's reasons for this. Arjuna was actually, he had actually defeated the entire Kaurava army even before the battle of Kuruksetra. He had defeated the Kauravas, including Bhishma, Dronacharya, Kripacharya, Duryodhana, Dushasan, everybody in the war of Virata, in the Virata war. At that time, Arjuna and the Pandavas, they were in the completion of the 13th year of their incognito. 14th year of their incognito, and they were finishing their forest exile period, and the last year was their incognito year. And when they were in their incognito, that time Arjuna was he was actually disguised as Brihannala. So at that time, the crown prince of the place where these five brothers were staying, the city where these five brothers were staying, was a city known as Virata. And with the crown prince, they actually found out, Duryodhana and everyone, they found out that the Pandavas were incognito in this Virat kingdom. and therefore they actually came to, they posed a war against Virat, the kingdom of Virata. And Arjuna, as Brihannala, he came with the crown prince, and he actually single-handedly defeated the entire Kaurava army. So this was the potency of Arjuna. Of course, he was the best student of Dronacharya. And then also during the years of exile, it was actually 12 years of exile and the 13th year of incognito. So what it was is that during this 12 years of exile, Krishna had instructed Arjuna that he should go to the heavenly planets. In fact, he should please Lord Indra first, and then by the mercy of Lord Indra, he should go to the heavenly planets and acquire weapons. All the celestial weapons which will be useful for him to fight the battle of Kuruksetra and preparing for the battle. So Krishna had told Arjuna to do this. So therefore Arjuna actually had left the four brothers and Draupadi, and he had gone to Indraloka, and he stayed there for some time under the guidance of Indra, and he also pleased Lord Shiva as well. And by pleasing Lord Shiva, he got the Pashupatastra and so many different other weapons. And also, he was able to get so many of the benedictions from the different devatas in preparing for this battle of Kuruksetra. And at that time, because of a misunderstanding and a love failed attempt kind of thing, he also received this curse that he would not be neither a man nor a female nor a woman, and he would stay like that. And then Indra actually appeared at that point, and he told the celestial Apsara to reduce the longevity of that curse, and he told her to reduce it to just 1 year. And that time, Arjuna was very disturbed, but then Indra explained to Arjuna that this curse is going to be a benediction for you, because all the other Pandavas will be easily able to disguise themselves, but you are, going to be impossible. Arjuna is compared in beauty even to Krishna. He was very, very beautiful, very handsome, and extremely valiant prince, very, very, he was a warrior, so it's very difficult to, he was like the best of men, so to speak. So Indra said that if like this it goes on, then in this condition you won't be able to disguise yourself and hide yourself. So therefore this curse is going to be a benediction for you in that 1 year of incognito that you will have. So that is why Arjuna had become Brihannala, so that he could take on that curse, which was the longevity was only for 1 year, the 1 year of incognito. So this is how, so as Brihannala actually, he defeated the entire Kaurava army. So Duryodhana then found out later that that was none other than Arjuna. So therefore he is taking Arjuna's name. But before Arjuna, he is also taking Bhima's name, because he actually dreaded Bhima more. He was fearful of Bhima more, because there are 3 reasons to this. The first reason being that Bhima actually had made a vow that he is going to kill all the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra for all the atrocities that they have done to the Pandavas. He had made a vow that he is going to kill the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra. So in the battle of Kuruksetra, actually there were many opportunities by the other 4 Pandavas to kill many of the sons of Dhritarashtra, but they would always remember, no, Bhima has taken this vow, so they would not kill, they would knowingly not kill any of the sons of Dhritarashtra because they would reserve it for only Bhima. Bhima had copyright of their life, so to speak. He actually wanted to kill them because that was his vow. That was the first vow. The second reason why Duryodhana was very fearful of Bhima was because Duryodhana, when Draupadi was insulted in the assembly of the Kauravas, when she was dragged there by Dushasana, Duryodhana actually had lifted his dhoti and he had, clapped upon his thigh and signaled to his thigh and told Draupadi, he invited Draupadi to come and sit on his thigh. So Bhima was so furious because of this act of Duryodhana that he had actually vowed to just break and smash that thigh. He had made a vow and he had said that I'm going to rip apart Duryodhana's heart and I'm going to, just break his thigh. I'm going to break his thigh. That was one vow. That was the second vow that Bhima had taken. The third vow that Bhima had taken was that he would, rip apart the arms of Dushasana, which committed two violent acts. One was that he had caught a chaste lady's hair. He was actually dragging Draupadi by her hair. He was pulling on her hair and dragging her into the court, into the assembly. So it is said that, it is a very, very ghastly offense to touch, rather not just touch, but to pull a chaste lady's hair. It's the greatest form of insult, and, to do that to a chaste lady, the reactions are extremely severe. So Dushasana, because he did that one act of pulling on Mother Draupadi's, hair, and the second gruesome act that he did was that he pulled on her robes as well, trying to strip her. So these two, most heinous acts that Dushasana had done towards Mother Draupadi, Bhima was extremely, extremely angry and ferociously angry at this. And he had made a vow that he is going to rip apart Dushasana's arms, and he is going to, break apart his chest, drink his blood, and then Draupadi had also said that till Dushasana's blood is not put on her hair and she washes the insult off of her hair, she is not going to tie her hair. So Bhima had made this promise as well, that he is going to bring Dushasana's chest blood to wash off Draupadi's hair. So these vows made Duryodhana very, very fearful of Bhima, because he knew that Bhima and the Pandavas, they are all righteous people. They are people who follow the dharma. So it is said that however horrible a person may be, however atrocious a person may be, but they can never escape the voice of their own conscience. Their own conscience, they can never escape that. So even Duryodhana, he also knew that in his heart of heart, he knew that he is doing wrong. But he was just so attached. He was just so much in the modes of passion and ignorance that he was not able to do anything about it. He was not able to rectify himself. That was the level of attachment that Duryodhana had towards not only to himself, but to, his extended, relationship, like his own brothers or the throne. This is all because he wanted power, name, fame, power, adoration, distinction. These are the things that Duryodhana was lusting after. And that is the reason why he chose to even get killed. He knew that it was a very dangerous kind of a deal that he was getting into, but he was helpless. in front of his own, treacherous ambitions. He was very, very helpless. So he also knew in his heart of hearts that what he is doing is completely adharma. He knew that. And he also knew that what the Pandavas are doing are completely righteous. They are the ones who are upholding dharma. He knew that very well. So that's why in his heart of hearts, he knew that he had the greatest of fear from Bhima, because Bhima had vowed to kill him, to kill the Shasana, and he knew that it would get fulfilled. He knew that from the very beginning, but he was trying to pacify himself. He was, that is how much blinded, a person can get when there is attachment. When attachment comes, we just get blinded. We don't see anything beyond our attachment. We just get so attached to name, fame, profit, adoration, distinction. We can't see anything beyond that. We just become blinded by the lust of achieving what we want. That is what is Duryodhana's condition. So here, Bhima and Arjuna, it is very significant that Duryodhana is taking their names only. He is not taking the names of Yudhishthir. He is not taking names of Nakul and Sahadev. He is not even bothered about those three warriors. He is only fearful of Bhima and Arjuna. Arjuna mainly because he has already defeated the Kauravas one time. Single-handedly, Arjuna has defeated them. So that is why he is very, very scared of Bhima and Arjuna, and that is why he is taking only their names. And here again, in this verse also, he is taking the name of Drupada again. You can see in the past 3 verses, he is, talking about, this is the 3rd verse, that he is talking about Drupada. This is just to instigate Dronacharya, to kindle his, hatred, to kindle his, the fire of hate within Dronacharya. Duryodhana so expertly is again just reminding him and saying that Drupada, the son of Drupada, and just Drupada. All of this, he is just instigating Dronacharya by saying like this. Then text 5 and 6, Duryodhana is talking about the different other warriors like Drishtaketu, Chekitana, Kashiraj, Purojit, Kuntibhoja, Shaibya, Yudhamanyu, Utamauja, the sons of Shubhadra and the sons of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot fighters. So he is, talking about the main significant chariot fighters in the Pandavas side. Then text 7. He is thinking, because, even by himself, he is talking about all these warriors, even he is, his morale is also getting down. So to boost up his morale and to boost up the, morale of his own, fellow soldiers and his commander-in-chief, he thought, no, I should not just glorify the enemy. I should also talk about the strengths that I have in my army. So here in text 7 he's saying, but for your information, O best of the Brahmanas, let me tell you about the captains who are especially qualified to lead my military force. Because here, if you can recollect, that Duryodhana actually came up to Dronacharya to speak to Dronacharya. So Dronacharya was standing next to Bhishma, Pitama, and the entire main other, warriors also who were around Drona and Bhishma. They were also listening to this conversation that Duryodhana was, loudly boasting and, he was talking. So everybody was naturally listening on his side of the, army. And then that's why he thought that, now I'm just glorifying the enemy. Let me talk about, let me give some, boost and, some, kickstart to my army as well. Let me inspire my army as well. So therefore he's saying, now let me talk about my army. Text 8. Srila Prabhupada again says that this again is a master stroke by Duryodhana. Why? Because here in text 8 he is saying there are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Krupa, Ashwatthama. Vikarna and the son of Somadatta called Bhurishrava, who were always victorious in battle. Now, why does Srila Prabhupada say that this is, again a great, trait of a very diplomatic politician? Why? Is because Duryodhana actually, he was in confusion. He was in a little bit of a dilemma, a little perplexion, because he was addressing Dronacharya and Bhishma Pitama was standing right next to him. And in age and even in valor, even as a soldier, as everything, Bhishma Pitama is superior than Dronacharya. And he also wanted to boost the morale of Bhishma Pitama as well. And he didn't want, so he was in a state of confusion that if he takes Bhishma Pitama's name first, then Dronacharya will feel insulted. But if he takes Dronacharya's name first, then Bhishma Pitama will feel insulted. So he was confused, what should I do? So, but then he thought that no, Dronacharya, he is after all a Brahmana. So if I take his name first, Bhishma Pitama won't mind so much. So therefore, here, Duryodhana started off by saying there are personalities like you. You means Dronacharya. So he's first addressing a Brahmana. And then he's saying Bhishma, then Karna, then Kripa, then Ashwathama. And then he's talking about Vikarna. He's not talking about Dushasana. Vikarna is one of the brothers of Duryodhana. But Duryodhana, he is not talking about any of his other brothers, even Dushasana. He's not talking about Dushasana here. But he's talking about Vikarna. There's a special reason why he chose to talk about Vikarna, because when Mother Draupadi was being insulted, and when the Pandavas were cheated from their kingdom and exiled into the forest and all of that happened, the only person who actually revolted against this entire episode was this personality called Vikarna. Vikarna was the one who actually protested and told Dushasana and Duryodhana that what they are doing is completely wrong. And he actually left that assembly. He was the only brave person to say that this is an injustice being done. He was the only person. Vikarna was the only person who said this. And that is why Duryodhana wanted to make... Now, Vikarna was a very valiant warrior himself. He was very, very qualified warrior. So, Duryodhana, he was actually counting, the people on his side. He was, he really wanted powerful people on his side also, so that he has an equal match against the Pandavas. So, he wanted Vikarna to stay on his side. So, that's why he is putting this boy's name, this Vikarna's name, along with Dronacharya, Bhishma, Kripa, Ashwathama, so that Vikarna feels grateful to Duryodhana and does not change party. Because, Yudhishthira Maharaj, right after the conch are blown, Yudhishthira Maharaj actually makes a declaration that if anyone chooses to go from either this side to that side or that side to this side, it's free to do so. They are ready to, choose your side. Yudhishthira Maharaj makes this declaration as Dharmaraj because it is something justified to do. So at that time, when that declaration is going to be made, Duryodhana wanted to ensure that Vikarna would still choose Duryodhana's side. So that is why here he is falsely glorifying. This is called false glorification. When we glorify a person, when we don't glorify a person, that is also considered to be offensive. But when we glorify a person, to some extent, some things which are not true about that person. When we do false glorification, that is also an insult to that person. So it is very offensive to just say, very flowery words if you don't mean it from your heart. Or rather, if those words don't hold true. So we should be very careful in choosing our words when we are glorifying others. Make sure that it is coming from our heart, and make sure that it is the truth. We should not just falsely, glorify someone unnecessarily, which will make them feel more insulted. Because everybody will know that, yes, this is not the right thing. So, here Vikarna, in that situation, being falsely glorifying him, putting him in the same category as Dronacharya, Bhishma, all these great valiant warriors, he's putting Vikarna in that category of warriors. Just why? So that his selfish interest of keeping Vikarna in his army is satisfied. That is what Srila Prabhupada is saying, that Duryodhana was such a clever diplomat. So, and then we move on to text 9, where Duryodhana is saying that there are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons, and all are experienced in military science. So all these, people who are on the side of Duryodhana, see again the things that are there in his heart, the fear that is there in his heart is actually coming out over here. That the heroes are ready to lay their lives down for me means Duryodhana is taking for granted that these people are going to die. He is not even thinking about victory in battle. He's saying that these people are ready to lay down their life for me means he's thinking that yes, they are bichara going to really die. That's what he knows in his heart of heart, and it is coming out over here in this form, that these warriors, as if it's something great, that these warriors are ready to lay down their lives for me. So people like, warriors like Advaita, Kuruksetra, Shalya, these warriors are, really in a sense, Duryodhana is almost like concluding that all of them will die in the battlefield of Kuruksetra because they joined the side of, this Adharmi Duryodhana. So, although, Duryodhana was trying to think that, yes, I am very, very confident. He's showing up a very brave front of thinking that, yes, I have these very, very, powerful warriors, so therefore I'm okay. But he got those warriors by cheat. He got, he cheated. Like Shalya Naresh, he was actually, Shalya, this warrior, he was the maternal uncle of Nakula and Sahadev. And when he was coming from his kingdom, Duryodhana found out that Shalya is coming. And Shalya was a very mighty warrior and a very expert charioteer as well. So, Duryodhana, what he did, such a, person he is, expert in deceit. Duryodhana, what he did was that at various points, every day at sundown, when, those days, of course, there was no trains or anything, they would all come in their own army and the chariot, they would come with their entire army, they were coming. So they were walking and coming, literally. And at that time, Shalya, whenever the sun would go down, he would see a camp. So there, in the camp, there was, good food. There was, servants there who were taking care of the entire army, feeding the horses. There were stables there to take care of the animals. And, Shalya had a nice, kingly kind of a tent waiting for him. And he was, given the best of food, the best of entertainment, the best of everything. And Shalya thought that, oh, my nephew, Yudhishthir and the Pandavas, they've done such amazing arrangement. They came to know that I'm coming all the way, and now every day they are welcoming me by, taking care of not only me but also my army. Then on the final day when he was reaching into the borders, when he was entering the borders, that time he was welcomed by Duryodhana. And when he was welcomed by Duryodhana, Shalya was very shocked that what is happening? How can Duryodhana come to welcome me? And then Duryodhana came and said that, my dear Shalya, did you like all the arrangements that I made for you? So this was, the highest form of deceit that, Duryodhana did to get people to his side. So Shalya, out of, the gratitude that he had, because he had taken the service from Duryodhana, he had to stay back on the Kaurava side. He had to fight on behalf of the Kauravas, on behalf of Duryodhana. And he was fighting against his own nephews. And Nakul and Sahadev were very hurt by this act, but then Yudhishthir said that no problem, it's okay, we understand that you are, you have to, now because you have taken the service from Duryodhana, you have to, the Kshatriya, that is the nature of the Kshatriyas, that if they take service, they have to return it back. That is the way people, would deal in those days. So, because Shalya had taken that kind of service from Duryodhana, he had to repay it. So therefore, he then fought on, the side of the Kauravas. And when Karna came to battle, at that time, Shalya, because he was a very expert charioteer, he became the charioteer for Karna. Because Karna requested him that, my dear Shalya, there on the opposite side, Krishna is the charioteer of Arjuna. So when I go in front of Arjuna, I also need a very good charioteer. So my dear Shalya, would you like to be my charioteer? And, Shalya actually liked the way, Karna came and approached him, and therefore he became Karna's charioteer in the end of the battle, towards the end of the battle. So this is where we'll end today, as we discussed the entire episode of Mahabharata going on over here, and then from next week onwards, we'll continue on from text 10. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada. If there's any questions, comments, we can take that now.
Hare Krishna, Kalasudha Mataji.
Jai Mataji. Hari Bo. Hari Bo.
You explained very nicely that you just like visual, you're seeing and you're describing. It's very wonderful. Thank you.
I was actually, even I've seen this B.R. Chopra's Mahabharata as a child, but, the notes that I'm referring to, as I have told you all, it is from Bhurijan Prabhu's Surrender Unto Me, the overview of the Bhagavat Gita. And these points are actually given by Bhurijan Prabhu also, So I was very surprised that, what we have seen in Mahabharata is actually very genuine, because B.R. Chopra, if you know the credits, in the credits actually he is glorifying Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada's name is there in the credits to Mahabharata. So it really makes sense, that... he has shown all of that very nicely.
Yes, very nice. I also watched a long time ago.
But actually, this is a sincere way that you all are hearing, that you're saying that you're envisioning it. It's got nothing to do with my speaking, but it is the way and the devotion with which you are hearing that Krishna is manifesting everything. It's got nothing to do with me. So thank you so much, Mataji.
Everything has to do, because if I haven't heard it, then I wouldn't be visualizing it.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. It's very encouraging and inspiring for me that you are here on the call. Thank you.
I usually am, but sometimes I come late, so I don't announce it.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Also, Mataji, one small question.
Yes.
The Vikarma was one of the 100 brothers of Duryodhana, right?
No, Vikarna was not included in the 100 brothers. As I think Kalasudha Mataji pointed out, he was a stepbrother. He was a stepbrother of Duryodhana.
Okay. But he participated in the war from the side of Duryodhana.
No, actually no. He didn't participate. From when Yudhishthira made that announcement, he was the one who switched sides. He came onto the side of the Pandavas.
Okay.
So that false glorification actually didn't work on Vikarna. He was the one who changed his side. Yeah.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Mataji, sorry to interrupt. I was wondering if it was Yuyutsu who moved to the other side and not Vikarna.
It was both of them actually, Yuyutsu and Vikarna. Both of them moved.
Okay. So I think then what we saw in
Mahabharata,
that was not.
They show only Yuyutsu, but even Vikarna had moved.
And then show as though Vikarna is fighting from Duryodhana's side.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Our glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for such a beautiful class. Just to have a small comment, Mataji, like when you said that why Duryodhana approached Dronacharya first, in spite of like Bhishma Dev being elder and more superior. So, like you said, because he was a Brahmana and he will not feel bad. The Bhishma Dev will not feel bad if Dronacharya is given the first name. So also, like I heard, I don't know whether it's right or wrong, that another reason that was being given to me as such, that Duryodhana knew that Bhishma Dev will always be on his side because of one of his vows, that he cannot leave Hastinapur. Rather, he just want to make Dronacharya special because he knew that he might go, but for Bhishma Dev he was quite confident that he will not go anywhere. Is it right understanding, Mataji?
Definitely. I mean, yes, Duryodhana would, take any means possible, like how he did with Shalya. So he can do anything, to keep people on his side. So yes, this is a very valid reason that, makes sense that yes, it could be that Duryodhana really wanted, like how he was, talking about his brother. So similarly, he was doing that to Dronacharya also. So yes. And that is also the reason why he actually made Dronacharya the commander-in-chief of his army. He did not make Bhishma the commander-in-chief. Because Dronacharya, he wanted that, Dronacharya should have his allegiance towards Duryodhana. So that's why Duryodhana made him the commander-in-chief instead of Bhishma.
Yes, Mataji. And Mataji, Another thing I want to ask is Vikarna is the step-brother? Is it anywhere mentioned?
Yes.
Okay.
He was the step-brother, yes.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you for always taking time for us.
No, thank you for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Jai Nandini, Haribo, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for a wonderful class, and it was like, I was watching Mahabharata as you were saying. It was such a wonderful it was so nice, and just wanted to mention one point when you were talking about Vikarna, you were mentioning how Duryodhana was doing false praise. So, and then when you were mentioning how the false praise, how we should not do false praise to others, that is also an insult, and that was a very nice point that you mentioned. And I would like to mention here that, Mataji, you are the best example for following that also, because I've seen you doing, I've seen you praising others from the heart. And I should really, appreciate you for that, because I learned that from you, and I'm also trying to follow it because, it gives happiness to our heart also when we do it genuinely from the heart. and not just simply glorifying others for what they are not. So I would like to mention that even if it is the simplest of devotee, Mataji will find something really genuine in them, and then only she will praise them. So I was really impressed with this point, Mataji, that how it is not helpful. Thank you.
Well, you are very kind, Nandini, but I'm just, I am actually in ecstasy hearing your voice. So it's really a pleasure to have you back on the call. I love that. Thank you for being on the call.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Yeah.
Haribol, Haribol.
Haribol.